look at all those buttons.
Maybe they have someone that shouldn't have one. Probably not, this one's probably nice over there by where Tim Contents, that's where Tim is, this one's coming down here.
What's that? It won't come up there, though. That would be the agenda. You have it.
This one's on, yeah, I just didn't know, it sounds like it's,
Oh. Sure. Chelsea usually just has the agenda on the TV. That's okay. You don't need to see yourself.
It's a mess. I don't need him dying on. We need to make sure he's okay.
Pardon?
Ask him to-
AI's on? That's all I really care about. Ravenna City Planning Commission, meeting April 29th. It's called to order. First order of business is a public hearing. Tim Ellsworth LLC regarding 101 Washington Street, requesting conditional use certificate for residential use in the I-1 zoning district. Tim, if you could step forward and again briefly explain your proposal.
Yeah, we have the property, my son and I at 101 Washington Street, that we know in the family for years, and we'd like to do something with the property. We haven't figured out what, like a business or something, so right now, just want to be able to rent it and not have it vacant, so we were going to actively try to find a tenant that maybe wants to have a home office or something like that, or a business, which I'm assuming they'd have to get approved with you, Bob, right? You know, what kind of business or whatever, so,
Right.
you know, not gonna just throw anything in there. They would have to abide by what it is, but yeah, we'd like to, right until we figure out, you know, a good business to have in there. Like I said, we've known, and we used to have the property next to it too, that, Town Hall has a parking lot, yeah, I'd like to
All right.
just try to have something coming in. It's been sitting empty for years and years. We've had it sitting empty for almost 2 years now with nothing coming in.
Is there anyone from the public that would like to speak for or against this project or ask questions for the project?
Cliff Soto, 464 Woodland Street. I'll just speak to you. Years ago, in the 80s, people lived in there, and with the setup for having not many people have any rentals open, it seems like it would rent pretty easy. That's what you're doing, because it's zoned now as commercial, is that correct?
Yes.
And you want to get it to both, or
To rent to a tenant or
as a home
tenant that has
office
a
or whatever?
business or
Okay.
something like that.
Because it seems like even though it is what it is,
Yeah.
nothing wrong with it. I'm sure it's nice inside, but the way it is, if it's priced right, nothing stays unrented in town now. So that's what I just wanted to know, if that's what you had planned. Okay, thanks.
So single family is conditionally permitted in the I-1. That's,
already?
it's conditionally permitted in I-1, which means planning commission would
Oh,
have to
okay.
approve
That's
the
what we're
use.
doing here.
That's what we're
Okay.
doing here today, correct?
Okay.
Yes, Ms. Michael?
Amy Michael, Ravenna City Councilwoman. I did speak with Mr. Ellsworth. I did have some concern, but he did reassure me that if a business were to come in, along with the rental property, that it did, obviously have to come before you guys. I was a little concerned, what type of business could possibly come in, being it's such a small home, with it being a rental, and what were we looking at is like if it was going to be something larger as a business, but again, I feel a little bit more relieved now knowing that that probably isn't going to happen, more of on the base of something small and run out of the home, because I really was concerned. I know that area is has some businesses, and you're starting to creep up into the neighborhood. So with the rentals and what type of business could come in, I was really worried about the neighborhood. So trying to clean up some of our neighborhoods, and you just like to caution what could possibly be coming in. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other further comments from the public? Tiffany, did you receive any correspondence from the public on this specific?
No, I did not.
Okay. Well, seeing no further questions or comments, we'll close the public hearing at 6:13 or 14, we'll say 6:13. All right, our regular planning commission meeting will be called to order. Roll call, please.
Mr. Barber?
Here.
Mr. Content?
Here.
Mr. Hairston?
Here.
Ms. Lodato? Here. Mr. Seaman?
Here.
Mr. Jennings?
Here.
Mr. Smith?
Here.
Mr. Finney?
Here. Approval of the minutes. Is there any discussion? Can I have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Second.
We, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. So the meeting minutes are approved for March 25th. We'll open up old business. And Tim, you're on one more time. Right, brief 5-second synopsis, real quick, one last time.
101 Washington Street, we have rental, residential or home office.
All right, does Planning Commission have any further questions?
Would you still entertain, I think before you spoke about Circle K, had previously shown some interest in purchasing your property?
They did a little bit, and they'll talk to you, and then like a year will go by, and there's only been two. Town Hall 2 had called, and then I called them back, and they haven't returned the calls yet for like a month, but they had expressed some interest. I'm not sure exactly what there, but there's been those two, but yeah, once we made it through the meeting, then we were going to start to market it.
So if either of those two entities came with a serious offer, are you still interested primarily in doing something like that?
We probably would sell if one of those, had an idea, something to do with it, yeah. If we can find something in there, we wouldn't mind keeping it and having a business. Right now, we have other projects going on, and not really a time to start another new business or something, but, we thought something might come up. Said, I've known that property most of my life, so yeah.
That was it for me.
Any further questions? All right, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved. I was looking for verbiage.
So the motion is requesting to approve conditional use certificate for residential use.
So moved.
Second. Second.
I'm sorry, who was second?
Would you call roll individually, please?
Mr. Barber?
Yes.
Mr. Jennings?
Yes.
Mr. Content,
Yes.
Mr. Hairston,
Yes.
Ms. Lodato,
Yes.
Mr. Seaman,
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Your request has been approved, conditionally approved, so you can work on the single family then. So new business, Deb Wiseman of Mogador Road. Would you step forward and propose your project?
Thank you, thank you. Thank you all for allowing me to present this new developing opportunity for Ravenna to you. A group of dedicated volunteers is planning on opening the Portage County Cat Shelter. Our board has identified the location at 406 West Main Street in downtown Ravenna. High visibility to engage a community is important to this project, so this downtown location is really ideal. Along with the convenient location, the building is well suited for the mission of our nonprofit organization. The Main Street location will need interior improvements to accommodate the mission of our organization. These improvements will be encompassing of current codes and the general complexion of the downtown commercial district. Our goal of this location is to add diversity to the commercial district, to downtown, to bring in additional foot traffic to the downtown area and reduce the overpopulation of stray cats in Portage County. The main mission of our organization will revolve around the ever-increasing issue of stray cats in Portage County. The shelter will be exclusively for Portage County residents and will focus on the surrendering, vetting, grooming, and placement of cats that would otherwise be all over Portage County abandoned. We are planning on charging a small fee for surrender and adoption to offset some of the facility's expenses. We determined that a maximum capacity of 80 cats would be very manageable based on the current operational planning and facility size. The current plan is to be open 6 days a week from 8 to 5, plus 2 evenings per week. In addition to the shelter mission, we'll have a full-time cat grooming salon and a small retail space for related cat items. There are very few animal groomers in Portage County that specialize in cats, and there is quite a demand for this service. We will not allow for cat drop-off after hours or without direct shelter supervision. Our team will also encourage the public to come in and hang out with our cats. We're hoping that the shelter will become a hub for retired people to visit and interact with the cats. We will also encourage teachers to bring their classes in to learn about proper cat care. Educating the public about the stray cat problem is very important to us. So on our website, we'll have a series of videos where we talk about the stray cat population explosion, educate people about proper cat care, especially spaying and neutering. We might have some recipes on there too. And encourage people to adopt shelter cats by all means. Our board and volunteer team really appreciate this opportunity to present this overview of our proposal. Again, I think it would bring business to downtown. It would help with the stray cat population. I actively trap stray cats around Portage County and deal with them. So yeah, I think this would really improve the downtown area and bring some business in. Thank you.
We have some illustrations.
Oh, we have illustrations. These are the outside of the building with our logo. And another.
Very much the same thing.
Yes, very much the same thing. But that's what we're hoping it will look like.
Can you hold them up to the audience?
Pardon me?
Will you hold them up to the
Oh,
audience?
yes, I'm sorry.
The building she's referring to is the old appliance store that sold appliances for many years.
Yes.
It's that section of, the building.
Next to that Metro PC, the cell phone place.
It was for a short time.
It was also a Western Auto for a lot of years.
Wow.
You're saying that your capacity is going to be like 80 cats?
Yes, according to the interior building floor plan, we can accommodate about 80.
So help me understand what accommodating 80 cats in one location means.
That's how many we'll have max at one time in the shelter.
But what does it take for you to maintain those cats in there? Is cats gonna be caged, or these cats gonna be free roaming?
No, we are actually going to build rooms, 8 by 10 foot rooms. There will be 8 to 10 cats per room. It's better for the cats physically and psychologically to be in rooms rather than cages. So yes, we will alter the interior of the building to build little rooms inside it for the cats.
Garage for loading, so there's less chance of a cat.
Sir, could you identify yourself, please, for the record?
He can't hear anything. That's the builder.
Would you identify him for the record, please?
Yes, Robert Woodson. So yeah, we will have rooms within the building. They will be all glass, sliding glass doors, so people could just walk by and see the cats. And hopefully take a lot of them home.
Deb, you had mentioned in the conversation the board. Could you extrapolate on your board, who you're referring to by the board?
Oh, well, we have incorporated as a nonprofit with the state of Ohio and the IRS. The board members are Joe Bika, Matt Kelly, I think you probably all know those two. Samantha Seibert, she is a marketing director, website person. And Robert Woodson, he's the builder and board secretary. I think that's it. Yeah, that's all of us.
So the improvements that you're proposing, I've been in that building and it's a mess. It's gonna take a lot of work. Do you have the funding to build this building out the way you're presenting it? It's not it's going to be an expensive venture.
Oh yeah. We've got cost estimates and projections. Yes, it will be costly. Yes, we do have the funds.
Right, and you said you're a 501s? Okay, that was a test. All right. So you have already formed a nonprofit?
Yes.
I have some comments.
Please.
First of all, I'm super excited that you're here. When I got this agenda, I'm sure my neighbor Amy's over there knowing exactly what went through my head. I have 8 cats. I'm a cat person through and through.
Fantastic.
A lot of them are rescues. So would your organization be doing any type of TNR? Because the feral cat population, that's like, we don't really have a program out here in Portage County that does anything with TNR.
Yeah, no, we will not do TNR. We will trap ferals.
It's trap, neuter, release, so that the feral cats can't reproduce.
I was wrong then.
If you need volunteers, just let me know. I live right down the street.
Great.
I'm very, very excited about this. I mean, this is something really unique. I mean, other than some things in Alliance, I really can't think of another place that has something going like this.
There are 67 cat rescues registered as nonprofit in Portage County, but 66 and a half of them are just women with a lot of cats. So there's no real shelter facility to take cats to. So we're hoping to fill that need.
And we do have a lot of them, because I don't know about the parts of town you guys live in, but we have a ton of them running around.
They're everywhere.
So this doesn't have anything to do with the Portage APL then, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
You are completely separate from the Portage APL, you're completely you're funded completely separate then also?
Yes, yes.
What's the name of your nonprofit?
Portage County Cat Shelter.
Okay, so that's the name of the nonprofit
Uh-huh.
too, okay.
Yeah. My end goal actually is, this is part of my bigger program, my bigger plan. The big picture is to have the Ohio Revised Code changed so that dog wardens can pick up cats. It has to happen. There's just too many cats. So I actually yesterday talked to the president of the Dog Warden Association in Ohio. She said, my wardens would love to pick up cats. They're just not allowed. So yes, I will be in Columbus as soon as the shelter's up and running, pestering the legislature to change that code. Then when Portage County needs a cat shelter, you'll have one.
One of the things I'm a little concerned about is where it's located, right there on Main Street. And if we get a lot of people dropping cats off and running away and saying, I'm gonna knock the cats off over here, jump in my car and run away. So we end up with this little magnet, you know, that we ended up with a lot of cats right along Main Street there.
Mm-hmm. I trap cats every day. So I will be around town trapping cats.
I understand that, but I'm worried about that location.
Dropping them off after hours.
Yeah, yeah.
Will you have a camera outside? I know a lot of shelters do because it's illegal, that Goddard's law, you can't abandon animals at a shelter. You face charges for that. So if you can get like plate numbers and identification.
We have a security system already purchased. Plus, we're kind of kicking around the idea of having a cat drop-off box, so to speak. Just a wire cage that people could throw their cats in after hours if need be. So, yeah, it might work.
Or the neighbor's cat that they don't like.
Yeah. I just had that happen.
I don't know about that idea, but.
Ms. Michael, you would like to comment?
Hi, I'm Amy Michael. I'm on City Council for Ravenna, and I felt it was interesting to kind of sit in and listen to you. I think, you know, your heart and passion is wonderful, and I think it's a needed thing. I know we've had some super lengthy conversations with neighbors that have had cats that have come into neighborhoods that have been feral, and they've ended up spaying and, you know, making messes on people's properties and tearing up their porches. And I even had a resident fall and break her hip as a result of a feral cat that was on her steps that she had no idea was going to be there. So I do respect the fact that we do have an overpopulation, and at a state level, there is very minimal things that we can do. There is very minimal things. So that, I think Carmen kind of addressed my concern as far as a camera. So, you know, if there's a camera that is, you know, catching people that, because I'm afraid that your 70 cats is going to fill up pretty quick. I do know that Medina has a very successful, I think, is it Medina or downtown Cleveland? They have a cat cafe.
It's Cleveland Affogato.
Yeah, they have a cat cafe where people can come in, have their coffee, tea, and it's a stress relief to play with the cats. And then they can adopt a cat if they find a special cat. So people do find this as a destination. So I guess it could be, you could look at it both ways. For people who maybe aren't animal lovers, I kind of understand how you could maybe think, oh, this, you know, maybe wouldn't be a good fit, but there's a lot of animal lovers out there, and the ones that do will drive for stuff like this. So the other thing is, will your nonprofit, which I would think you would, but have insurance, because cats, my concern is if you're having people come in and, you know, cats carry a lot of different diseases, and like cat scratch fever, cat bites, stuff like that. I would hate for someone to come in and all the hard work you guys did, get a cat scratch and become deathly ill. that is something, that kind of comes to my mind. But again, the other thing is, I know some of these cat establishments have an outdoor area where the cats can come in and out, that they're caged to get fresh air. I don't know what type of ventilation possibly you would have, because I do believe there are there tenants that live above there, or okay, so that would be my question. Would the smell of the cats go into the upstairs? What type of ventilation would you have to assure that from not happening? Since there are residents that live, and cat urine can be, I'm just looking at the worst scenario here with that building. I would think you would have to have some type of flow of air movement, and also, have them to be able to go outside if needed. So those are just my simple questions. So, but thank you for your passion. We need people that care in this world, and every little bit helps. So thank you.
I've got a follow-up on.
Go ahead.
Yeah, one thing I want to get a sense on is what happens when your population becomes bigger than your facility?
We eat them.
That's fine. Are you going to sell those to the restaurants? Oh my gosh, we're on video here. That was voice number 7. Yeah. No, but I mean, seriously, because I could see that filling up very fast.
Yes, you're right. It probably will fill up pretty quickly. We are in communication with 7 other shelters so far that say they will help us if we become overwhelmed.
A lot of shelters have foster networks too, where they're overflowing, like, I can't do that because I have 8, so I'm a foster fail.
You're maxed out. Yeah.
Carmen, you're a rancher.
No, cat herd.
So you will clean the cats, bathe the cats, you get them all cleaned up, trim their hair, trim their eyebrows,
And their nails.
and their nails?
Yeah, we will have a full-time groomer. She will be there 6 days a week, possibly 2 groomers, depending on the demand. But yeah, every cat that comes in will be vetted. We have a contract with Richardson's veterinary hospital. They're giving us a nice discount, vetting our cats. So when a cat comes in, it'll be put in isolation. It'll be sent to the vet immediately, spayed, neutered, whatever it needs done, and then groomed and put up for adoption.
Cliff, you'd like to speak?
We haven't talked about the process too much. Here's the situation that I have right behind here, about 400 feet. I have, at night, at least 8 to 10 cats that are feral beside there. They're being fed by someone, and they've also set up houses for them in the wintertime. Now, with the garbage situation sometimes here, I would hope that they'd kill the mice and the rats that are getting my building caused by the garbage. But I don't see that happening. They seem to be a little bit lazy. But my question is the process. You say you're going to trap cats. Is that by request?
Yes.
Okay. So someone that doesn't want the cat trapped and they want them to be feral, you won't go on that property.
No.
If I had a request around my house that I have a feral cat that comes bound every night, which I do, I don't know if he's feral or not, every night at the same time he walks by my window. Would I be able to call you?
Yes.
Okay, and I heard you say that I was going to ask about the veterinarian, and that's Richardson, and they would be all checked before they get put in with the rest of the population?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, because of disease
Oh, yeah,
and that.
yeah. They'll
Okay,
be in
fleas and
isolation, yeah.
obviously,
Yes.
and all that. It sounds good on paper, but there again, I don't know what it's gonna do. What's it gonna do for me? Okay. I don't know what, if you don't get the okay to do it, for someone downtown, and they want to feed feral cats, which of course, nobody is doing birth control on them, so it just keeps. Okay, so I guess it's a start. I don't have anything against what I wished there was more we could do to get rid of the ones that are there. The other thing, Bob, is did you see a parking problem there? Because you know, you really can't, I don't think, infringe going down to Bear's museum, bike museum, because that's his, unless he sets up some type of lease program. And there's only what, 2 or 3 parking spots out front?
Actually, Bear does not own the vacant lot. That's the railroad.
That's the railroad.
That's the
right.
railroad's, right.
I-
And at some point, the city's hoping to take ownership of that, but
Right.
this location is in the central business district. In the central business district, businesses do not have to provide parking. They're on-street parking.
Didn't we try to deal with that, though, a little bit when the owner of the building came to us and wanted to open up the small retails along Sycamore that were usually businesses back when there was a hairdresser and that.
Right.
And also into the next building, I think it went over to where Garo Tread is.
Right.
Didn't we have a problem with that too, where they could park anywhere?
So he created residential units in a couple of those units and had to come up with parking specifically for the residential. So the central business district does state you must provide parking spaces for residential, but not commercial.
Okay, that's the difference
And
between
that
the
was
two.
correct, yeah. He had to come up with some parking, and he did end up paving his parking lot.
Right, okay. Very good, that's,
I mean, it's always going to be an issue at that
Certainly.
location, because there's only 3 or 4 parking spaces that have been striped out front.
I can remember going there when it was Western Auto. When I was a kid with my brother, I actually got my first bicycle there. And it's amazing that it was a busy store. I don't know where the hell everybody parked back then, you know, because now I don't know where they parked for the phone store either. So it is a problem though. So, okay, thank you.
Food for thought, Mogador just recently passed an ordinance that you're not allowed to feed feral cats. And then I went in and I trapped them. So, food for thought, don't feed the ferals. They just reproduce.
So how do you determine a cat is feral or not?
Well, you stick your hand in the cage. If it comes out bloody, it's pretty feral, yeah. No, they're usually very aggressive ferals.
Yeah, I only asked that question because I live on Mechanic Avenue, just off of Main Street. And at one time, we had a gentleman, ex-council member, Mr. Bailey, that was feeding feral cats, and our total count at one time was 55 cats. Over a period of time, a lot of them were trapped, taken away, at least spaded, neutered, which you know is a very expensive process. But I'm happy to see that you're here because I got really educated about cats watching what went on. And they can be very vicious.
One stray female can be responsible for producing up to 2,000 kittens in a 5-year period. 2,000. It's a lot of cats. They're baby machines. They have 4 litters a year. They go into heat 12 hours after they have a litter. So it's a problem that I'm hoping to solve in Portage County, at least.
So the one item I do want to discuss, in Central Business District, pet stores is a permitted use, but the code then states excluding boarding. So item L, under retail sales, number 8, retail sales, letter L, pet stores, comma, excluding boarding. Would you consider what you're doing boarding?
Not really, no. It was initially in the business plan that we would offer boarding to cat owners, but after talking to you a month ago, We struck that out of the business plan. We will not board cats. They're temporary residents, really. We're hoping to move them through, getting vetted and then rehomed or eaten. Sorry.
Some of us find that funny.
So how long will you let a cat stay in there if it's not boarding? So let's say that you pick a cat up and it's really, some people find it very cute and some people not so much. How long can it stay there before it becomes a boarder?
I don't know, that's a good question.
I think that's why it's good that you have the open rooms for the socialization, because one thing that's tough about the APL is all their cats are in these cages. And if they are there for longer, the longer they're there, the more antisocial they become, and then it's like it's downhill from there. But one thing that I like about your plan is you have these open rooms, and having people come in, they'll probably get adopted quickly because they're gonna be socialized.
Yeah. I think there are two things that I'm concerned about. One, it's open up for all of Portage County, so you're gonna have cats coming into Ravenna, not just Ravenna cats, right?
Right.
And so I'm worried about the population of cats that are gonna be coming in, what you're gonna do when they've been there a long time, and,
Well-
and your population increases.
Right, we're not gonna hold them forever, and we do have so far, I've contacted 64 shelters in a 5-county area, via email, asking, can you cooperate with us if we become overwhelmed, or we have cats that aren't adoptable? And so far, like I said, 7 of them have said, yes, we will help you, so.
What's your expectation on how many cats are gonna be dropped off and brought there? I mean, you're making this to hold how many, 70? 80?
We have 80, capacity for 80, yes.
And is 80 a small number of feral cats or a large number of feral cats? In
Well-
terms of what people have running around, because as Mr. Harrison said, you've got them all over the place. So I don't know how many cats we've got running around Ravenna, Kent, Garrettsville, all of Portage County.
There's a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
We're not going to deal with we're not going to keep feral cats. We're going to euthanize the feral cats. It has to happen. Nobody wants to kill a cat, but there are estimated 312 million homeless cats in America.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Portage County.
A lot of them live here. Yeah, nobody wants to kill a cat, but it has to happen. So we trap ferals. We will have the vet determine they're feral, and we will euthanize them humanely.
I have a couple questions for you. From the site plan, or the floor plan that you submitted, there's a garage door on the west side of the building. How will you utilize that garage door, the overhead garage door?
That's perfect because we can drive our van in, shut the door to ensure no cats will escape, and load or unload cats. So it's really perfect, really, for.
And then how do you keep cats from running out the front door?
We're going to have a double entry. You will go in the front door there into a box, another area.
Vestibule.
And thank you. And that door will not open until the outer door shuts.
Kind of like the marijuana store.
Correct. Yes.
I'm more amenable to the cats, I'll say that.
Larry, go ahead.
Larry Selenius, 123 North Walnut. Just a quick question. Your 8 by 10 rooms that you talked about, are the walls going all the way to the ceiling, or are they going to be cubicle type things?
They will go all the way to the ceiling, yes. With a ventilation system. There will be a ventilation system for each room, vented outside.
We've got 10-foot ceilings. These will be 10-foot enclosures. There will be a drop ceiling inside the enclosure rooms. The main area will be open. It's a very tall and ornate ceiling. It's one of the old pressed copper ceilings. But inside the pet holding rooms, the 8x10 rooms, there will be a lower ceiling level that allows us to put ventilation systems in there that'll address the young lady's concern about the odors that might seep upstairs there. That also makes these rooms ideal for being able to be cleaning. And of course, the glass front so that everybody can watch exactly what's going on there.
Yes, our cats will not be able to get away with anything.
How do you handle the waste problem with that many cats?
I was gonna bring it to your house.
I got plenty of experience, but
No.
we have farm cats.
Oh, yeah.
My
Well,
God.
you're right, there will be a tremendous amount of waste. Of course, we will have a dumpster that will be locked, and sealed. So, it's considered actually by the waste management people, it's considered a biohazard. And I'm sure if you've smelled it, you will agree. But, yes, they have to dispose of it in a special manner, so we will have a special dumpster just for that.
Where will the dumpster be located? Where will the dumpster be located on the property? Because there's nothing but sidewalk on the front, and there's no property on the back end of this also. So
There
you-
is a dumpster in the back, at the garage, there's a garage door in back of the building.
But that wouldn't, well, I haven't spoke to the owners, but that, I don't know that that would be part of your lease property. I don't know that.
I don't, yeah, that's a good point. I have yet to address that.
Is it, obviously the dumpster cannot be left on a sidewalk.
No,
And
no.
it's gonna stink. So, yeah, I've not seen dumpsters that seal like a closed lid with a gasket or something, so something to, you'll need to address for sure. And I know it might be the location in your garage, you just might have to keep it on site in the garage and push it out
Good idea.
when it gets, when you just lose your loading and unloading area.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Because I'm not a cat person, not that I don't like them, but if you had that many rooms and you tried to put dogs together, they wouldn't get along. Are all cats good with each other? Are you gonna be able to throw cats in there and not have them kill each other? You're
Yeah.
telling me that every cat likes other cats? I find that very hard to believe.
They eventually establish a hierarchy. Somebody will emerge as that alpha cat.
And
After a few
that's
fights.
after the blood?
Yeah, there might be a little. Listen, I've had the same cats living in my house for 5 years and they still have a dust up once in a while.
That's true.
Anybody else?
Is there any further questions?
Is this considered, you read a regulation for a pet store,
Correct.
so this falls under a pet store category?
I'll let you interpret that. She's gonna sell, you said you were gonna sell some stuff for cat.
Cat bling. All
Cat
cat
bling,
owners
there you
must
go.
have bling. Right?
Will you have Sphinx clothes?
We'll have T-shirts with snappy sayings on them.
I don't know if we answered your question, Bill.
Well,
It's,
There's a difference between a cat store or pet store and somebody who sells blings.
correct, I agree. Her proposal is not specifically written in the code in black and white. It's a service, minor general retail,
Okay.
you know, that's, yeah, which, again, we won't find that anywhere in our code either.
The only thing that kind of gives me a little pause is the waste removal. Like, just ensuring that they have space for you to get that dumpster.
At my home, I have a hauler who once a month comes and takes my cat litter. I have a lot of cats right now, and I generate about 200 to 400 pounds per month of used cat litter. And he comes once a month and hauls it away. I could employ him to do the same here.
I have confidence in listening to her that she will find a way. She will find that spot that's needed.
Well, hearing no further questions, is there a motion?
Does this have to have a public hearing? We haven't talked to the owners.
Well, and I would assume that you've talked, the Gillettos are on the, they're waiting for you to sign a lease, I presume?
Yes, yes.
Okay, I had talked to a real estate agent that at one point was representing you. So I'm assuming that, I mean, that assumption is that the owners know that she's presenting.
Yes.
So there's a motion on the floor? Is there a second? Carmen made the motion.
I'll second.
What was the motion? What are the words for the motion?
Approve it as submitted with the caveat that the waste has to be handled on a weekly basis. And the location of the dumpster, you want to address inside the garage portion?
It's gonna be, hopefully for their sake, it can be outside, but if not, they have the garage space for it, so.
So if the property owners do not permit you to put your dumpster on the backside, which I think would be extremely inconvenient, you'd have to walk out front, up the sidewalk, down Sycamore to get to the dumpster. It appears maybe you would lose one of the rented spaces, or I'm sorry, the 8x10 spaces for the dumpster.
Right.
And obviously, when it's going to be collected, again, it can't just sit on the sidewalk, so that's something you're definitely going to have to address.
I'm glad we talked about this. I think I probably will end up using the 55-gallon wheeled barrels and have my hauler, my trash hauler guy, waste management guy, come once or twice a week to haul it away. I think that would be the best solution. The odor, it would reduce the odor and mess.
Let's talk about it. What were you saying?
At one time, and I don't know if it currently still is, there used to be a drive that went between the building that you're referring to in the garage and the big tall barn structure to the
There
left.
is.
And my memory brings me back to the gentleman from Western Auto used to park their trucks in there to unloading, so I don't know.
I assume
Whose
that's
actual-
Bear's property. Sort of a lean-to area.
Now, Vito told me that that's not his property. So there is a door to it, to that side of the, there's a door there, which drops down 4 feet, so.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Further discussion? Could we have roll call, please, by individual name?
Okay, Ms. Lovato,
Yes.
Mr. Hairston,
Yes.
Mr. Content,
No.
Mr. Barber,
That's a tough one. I'll say yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Jennings,
Yes.
Mr. Seaman.
Vote is 5-2, so your proposal is approved. When you get your building plans put together, you will be in the commercial code, so make sure your architect submits plans conducive to the commercial code.
Oh,
And submit them to Tiffany and I, and we'll get you moving. When do you want to open?
we're hoping for a August or September open.
Okay. And you had told me that you have an architect volunteering for you?
Yes, Frank
Okay.
Pavliga.
Okay. All right. If he has questions, have him give me a call.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Next item is old business. Sometime back when Supergood presented their landscape plan, they weren't 100% sure. You guys now have a copy of their landscape plan. Mr. Barber was curious on their specific trees. And somewhere in your packet, it discusses the 2 trees. So they are proposing, I can find my own stuff here.
Lollipop crabapple and emerald spire crabapple.
That is correct, yes. So then, the site plan that you do have a copy of, they're proposing 2 trees, 3-inch diameter when they're planted, and then multiple bushes along the perimeters of the parking.
Do we know how big the bushes will get? Do they have that in there? Did I miss that?
They're gonna be 3 gallons.
No, 3 gallons doesn't help me.
Me neither. Not this big? I assume, I can only assume. I don't know. I don't have an answer.
You can assume you don't know?
I mean, my assumption would be 2 feet. Obviously, they're not gonna start that big, but that's just an assumption. We didn't ask that question specifically. We just asked the trees, species. And they're very interested if you have other trees. If you have other recommendations, they would definitely consider these. Consider other recommendations.
I just want to make sure that the parking over there, that we don't have a problem with lights going into the neighbors and down the street. You know, I know that we've got, you know, they bought that. That's my big concern. So
They
if you
did
talk
not-
to them.
They did not even submit a lighting plan, and their site plan does not show lights either. So the wall pack units that are currently on the building is what they would have, and I believe they close at 9 o'clock, I want to say. That, I don't expect that to change.
Thank you.
I hope somebody here knows a lot about trees. I don't know what kind of trees these are.
Flowering, they don't grow very big, but they grow kind of quick.
Crab apples are crab apples, different varieties, and they might have different color flowers.
Get fairly tall.
So this was just a discussion. Unless you guys have feedback, there's no vote for this specific item.
Thanks for bringing that back.
You're welcome.
I'm glad to see there's something there for some green space
Yeah.
rather than just an ocean of asphalt.
Well, if there's no further questions or discussions, we'll adjourn the meeting until May 27th, 2025. We have a vote to adjourn the meeting. Do we need a second first, or do we need to make a motion? Make a
So moved.
second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Always drop the ball on that.
Get caught hanging in those trees.
What's that?
You can get caught hanging in those trees.
Yeah. All right, I got it.
Can only go up, buddy. Can only go up.